welcome to today's Advanced User Forum. This is Mike. I'll be your host for today's forum. Chris will be assisting me on the chat if you have any questions during the presentation. Afterwards, we will open the floor for questions as usual. With that said, let's jump right in. Today's forum will be going over sales invoice and credit troubleshooting. We'll be touching on important housekeeping issues and how to set up your customer for invoicing and credits and make sure that everything has been sent to QuickBooks, and to check on customer card payments to make sure they're not expired or rejected. So we'll be going over some common queries in the following areas. The first ones we'll touch on would be customer invoice profiles and mediums. We'll look at how to set that up and to make sure that everyone is receiving invoices as you see fit. So to do that, we'll start off in our company module. If we go into our companies and enter your customer. Once we're inside the customer module, company module, I should say, we want to go over to the customer tab. And this just takes a moment to populate. Okay, so in the customer tab, there's just three areas that are required to make sure that everything is functioning properly. The first thing we want to look at, we have to make sure that an invoice profile has been set. And as you see your options here in the drop-down, they're pretty self-explanatory. Most opt to go with the single invoices by sales order. That may vary based on your customer's needs. But this has to be satisfied. If not, the invoice lines will not show up in available lines, which can be problematic. So we want to make sure that's addressed. Next, we want to make sure that we have an invoice medium. So right now, we have this set to email, which is what most customers prefer. But again, you do have options there. If this is left blank, then the invoices won't automatically print or email, which again, is very problematic. So we want to make sure that's addressed. Those two are required. One other thing I wanted to point out is that if you have multiple reports for your customer, sometimes we have different report formats for our government contracts or hospitals or so forth, or if you want to itemize or a invoice with back order details, that will be listed in this drop down here. And that's specific per customer, and that can be set there. So once these have been set, we just save. And now that customer is good to go and set for the receipt of their invoices as we've set forth here. So we'll close that out. If you ever want to question or check to see if there are any customers who do not have an invoice profile, that can be done through our company grid manager. So we'll go into the grid manager here. We'll just do an all-inclusive search. What we want to do here is go to our invoice profile. We want to select the ones that have no invoice profile and search. And that's quite a few. And as with all grid managers, we can go into our results tab, remove any that we do not want to affect in the change by highlighting them and clicking on remove. And now the remaining 209 will be changed. So we'll go over to our change tab here. And what we're looking for is our invoice profile. So we'll check that to update it. We'll set that to single invoices by sales order or whatever we want to change it to. And we can also address our invoice medium by going in here, setting that to email or whatever is applicable. Once you hit apply, all 209 customers have been updated with the selections we've made. It's just that easy. Now that that's taken care of, next we'll look at why invoices sometimes fail to post to QuickBooks, what to do when they failed, and setting up some default filters to make sure that they are not missed. So let's go to our invoicing module. I'll close that out. And the steps that we're going to take here is applicable for all of your invoices, but today we're just going to focus on our sales invoices. Okay, so once we're in our invoice module, what we want to do is go to our status of outstanding and completed, and we can do a search. What we're looking for here is our failed invoices, so we'll go to our posted column here and we'll sort, just so they're easier to find. Keep in mind there are tons of columns, so if your posted column or any columns are out of sight, you can always drag them over to where you can see them, right click and save settings, and that will be saved for you the next time you go in. In addition to the other filters that we've put in place, we can always go to our filter icon here, right click, click new filter, and then we'll name this one failed. We'll hit OK. So now all of the parameters that we set and the filters that we set for failed invoices will be in place next time, saving you time and clicks. Okay, now we have our failed invoices here. Let's go over the top 3 reasons why invoices fail to post to QuickBooks. The most common reasons would be that there's an invalid or missing billing address in the HQ, or invalid or missing financial email contact, or that there's a duplicate invoice number already in QuickBooks. So let's just double click into one of these and we'll go over how to check for those. So we see our posting status of failed here. So keeping in mind that the 3 most common reasons, the first thing I want to check would be the address and email contact. So for that, I go into our company. You can access directly from the invoice. I'll find my HQ address, which is billing. And just going to do a quick search to make sure that everything, and there's no weird characters, no spaces after, and most importantly, there's the city, state, and zip code. Everything's in place. Everything looks fine there. So now I want to check my financial contact, which is what we're really checking for here. And you identify that in this column here. Is financial contact, we're looking for that, yes. So we're going to check out Charlotte here and see if everything's okay. Charlotte's missing an email address, so that's probably the issue. I'll just put in a generic email address. Save. And once you hit complete, it should go through. Just keep in mind this is a test database. It's not connected to anything. But once you're live and the EDC is running, once the information is updated, it will post and that will show as posted, yes. So we've addressed the invalid or missing billing address as well as the financial contact. Lastly would be the issue of a duplicate invoice number already existing in QuickBooks. So that will not show up right here in the invoice itself. If everything else looks okay, we've checked the addresses in the email, we'll have to dig a little deeper, and for that we'll go into our journals, and we just want to take a look at that invoice and see what the journals are saying about it. So I'm going to just copy that invoice number, 9857. To access our journals, we go into our general journals. Okay, now once we're in our journals, we want to, first thing we want to do is clear out our quick search. Now you see that defaults to the past 6 months. So just to be all inclusive for this exercise, we're going to clear that out. We want to assign the type as system entry. And in our color bar, in the notes field, we can actually enter our invoice number. and then search. Now, just like in the invoice module, we can right click on our filter icon, create new filter, and we can save. Now, you don't want to save your invoice number in there because that's going to vary, but all the other parameters can be saved if you like. And after we hit search, we see a list of our journals. You can kind of see right here in the notes field a brief description. We can double click into either one of these lines and take a deeper look into it. So what we're really looking at here is this info screen. And you see the sales order failed to transfer. This first line right here will give you a general idea as to what failed. So what you'll see here is invalid or missing address or financial contact or duplicate ID or duplicate invoice number. This is a good indication as to what's happening. So again, this is in your journals, in the info screen. First line, you'll see what's happening here. In the rare event that you get one of these codes that doesn't fit one of the issues that we've gone over, feel free to just give us a call, submit a ticket. You can do a screenshot or just do a copy and paste all the information in here, send it over on the ticket, or give us a call and we can walk through the actual issue. But generally speaking, it's going to be one of the three issues that we've gone over. So next I want to touch on managing failed and expired card payments. And we're going to go over what to check for and how to manually mark these as paid. So for that, we'll go back into our sales invoice lookup. I'm going to clear all my filters. I'm going to go back to outstanding and completed. And we're going to go to our color bar here. Oops. And all we're going to check here is this paid by external source drop down. We want to go there. And we're looking for the ones that failed, right? So we're going to check that and search. So we do have an example here of one that has failed. So we're going to that. And you see right here, paid by external source failed. So what I'd like to show you here is if you click on the three dots, kind of very similar to the info tab over in the journals, you'll see right here, it kind of gives you a brief description. Sometimes it is just coding gibberish, but if it's not clear as to why it failed, what we can do is just bypass that. I'll show you how. But a lot of times it will say expired or invalid card number or invalid date or whatever the case may be. But it's pretty simple to fix. What we want to do in this case is just go to the drop down, change that paid by external source status to yes, save, and complete. Confirm our date. And you see the posting status has changed to yes. So all we did was just, we kind of identified that it was failed. We changed that to yes, and then just processed the payment after saving. Okay, so lastly, I would like to go over a reporting option that we have. Very useful. It's the consolidated invoice summary report. In the event that some of your customers would like a consolidated summary invoice report, we can utilize the sales invoice and credit details report, which gives a complete breakdown of all invoices itemized with shipping charges per location for the customer and month that you specify. So let's go over how to set that up. Let's close these out. We'll go into our reporting module. This is a custom report. And we're going to go to our report option. And we'll just do a quick search. And we're looking for the sales invoice credit details. Once I click on that, we'll go into our criteria. We're going to search for our company here. We can actually identify a date range or specific date or period, save your criteria, and go back to your report. And you see how this just places everything in a very nice, neat, convenient format, breaking down all of the sales, all of the invoices. From here, you obviously have the option to save as PDF or email directly from here. In addition to that, we can also automate this report. If you have several customers asking for this in various time frames, it's probably easier to set that up automated as opposed to going in here and doing this manually each shot. So I'll show you how to do that. To automate the report, we simply want to go into our admin, and you want to click on the automation. And we want to go to Auto Report Setup, Add Automated Report. And just as we did in the reporting module, we want to make sure that we're identifying the right type of report, which is management. And we want to find the report that we're looking for in the dropdown. We add our distribution list here and then save. Once everything is saved, we can go in there and edit the schedule. You identify whether this is going to be weekly or monthly. Put in your start date and the time that you want this to be sent. Any reoccurrence. And obviously check the days that you want this report sent on. Make sure that this is checked or it will not send. Once everything has been set, we simply hit save. And you can rest assured that this report will be automatically sent as indicated here. You can obviously go in at any point and modify your distribution list and your times. And that's pretty much it for today. I do thank you for joining us, and we will now open the floor for questions.